to one of the most highly anticipated films of the year. Elvis follows the king of rock and roll's life and rise to stardom.
The epic blockbuster was shot right here in Australia with legendary director Baz Luhrmann bringing the story to life. Weekend Sunrise movie man Jason Jabba Davis sat down with the Elvis stars before it hit cinemas on the 23rd of June.
Baz, welcome to the show.
I always love being here.
How long have you been working on Elvis?
I mean, I think full-time 5 years now. Like, he's been floating around in my mind. Well, my favourite role is just research. I mean, I lived in the South. I had a space at Graceland, recording music. I love doing the music, but I could research and never make the movie.
Really?
I did it in 3 parts. There are 3 Elvises. There's Elvis, the sort of punk rocker, who's the 50s. So I shot it. Mandy Walker actually made lenses that were used in the 50s. Then when we were in the 60s, we used 60s lenses. In the 70s, we're using anamorphic. So we actually developed an Elvis lens. So that the reason it feels different, I shoot it differently.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing, and Baz's pick to play the lead, Austin Butler, didn't let him down.
COVID comes, and Tom goes, and we almost lose the movie. It's going to fall apart. And instead of Austin going like, oh, he just doubled down on the work, like he wouldn't let himself believe it would go away. So to me, it's one of those performances where the actor is being driven by a life and death force.
And he really was.
I built so much momentum in the preparation process. And I knew that if I went back to the States that I would potentially lose that.
What was your best moment on set, the day that you'll cherish forever?
68 Special was the first thing that I filmed as far as performances go. We filmed 1 scene prior, and then suddenly I'm walking out there doing one of the most iconic performances Elvis ever did, as well as one of the most iconic rock and roll moments of history. And you feel so much pressure. And I was so nervous, and that feeling of where everything feels like it's on the line. But that's how Elvis felt, because his whole career was on the line at that point. And I look down and I see the leather and I see the set that's identical to the one that he was on. And it was this really, I just completely felt this transcendental moment where it went beyond what I thought that moment could be. And it was really special.
Working with Tom Hanks,
yeah.
Did that take a little while to not say, oh, Forrest Gump, or, you know, Wilson?
Yeah. I'm sort of letting myself do that now. You know, the other day we had this Italian interview and I'm sitting next to him and I just kept looking at him going, that's you, out loud. And you hear his laugh down the room and you hear Woody. That's the craziest thing. He's got the most iconic laugh. So he honestly was so open and vulnerable from the first second that I met him. He gave me this enormous hug and he talked about his fears and the whole process and I talked about mine and suddenly we were able to just collaborate.
Another dynamic explored is the one between Elvis and Priscilla Presley, the film touching on the breakdown of their marriage. Olivia DeJonge plays the star's ex-wife, and it was a performance that had Priscilla herself raving.
To sit, at Calm with her and to have her support and have everybody sort of loving the film, it's really been an incredible experience.
There's a lot of talk about Austin during COVID.
Yeah.
What did you do in the shutdown?
We'd movie club. Me, Austin, some of the producers and Baz, and we'd all, put in movies and watch them, and then once a week we'd have a big Zoom.
COVID wasn't the only factor that slowed things down. Academy Award-winning costume designer Catherine Martin says it was the scale.
Whether it was 9,000 extras costumes over the 3 decades, whether it was 93 or more for Elvis, we had over 90 sets on this movie, and I thought 53 on Gatsby was just ridiculous. It was just really big.
Really excited to see that one.
Yeah, you would have been an Elvis fan.
I did have a leather
got
jacket.
The hair.
Yeah, for a time there. It was a bad period of my life. You're watching Weekend Sunrise, our top stories this morning.